Alright, as most of you know, I live in Florida, and if you've been watching the news, you know we've got a storm on the way, Hurricane Ian. So, I just want to take a little time real quick and talk to you about why I love growing in the downspouts and what I'm going to be doing because of the storm. Now, one of the first things I love about the downspouts is they're portable. Mainly the small ones that I have that are between 2 and 4 feet. You know, I'm not talking about if you have like a 10-foot section, but the smaller ones, they're portable. And when you have problems like this arise, you can move them around. Now, a few years back, we had Hurricane Irma came through where we were living. Not at this place, we're out on the ranch. If you guys remember those videos where there was a pond that we lived on. And we actually moved everything inside. It was a category 2 when it went over the place. And then when we're done, we just moved everything back outside. So the entire garden survived. If you have a traditional garden and it's outside and you have like a storm coming through like that, you're really at the mercy of the weather, and all you can do is cross your fingers. But with off-grid hydroponics and everything being in its own separate little container, you can take it and move it inside. Most of the containers, I dumped the nutrient solution into a bucket, moved them inside. It was really easy, and then just put the nutrients back in it once it was inside. We stayed inside for a couple days, rode out the storm, and then just did the same thing. Took the nutrients out, moved it outside. You know, that way we weren't sloshing it all over yourself. Now, another thing is with it being off-grid and none of the pumps and aeration and filters and all the stuff that goes with it. If we had the hydroponics set up outside with that, we'd have to take it all apart to bring it inside. With these being off-grid and them being self-contained within each little container or downspout, we're able to, you know, move everything without having to disassemble stuff and then reassemble it afterwards. So it actually only took, you know, 30 minutes to move an entire garden inside, and then 30 minutes to move it back outside. Now this time we're not going to move everything inside. This place is not as big as our last place, and right now we still have lettuce, basil, kale, bunch of stuff growing outside. There's just no room for you know, everything inside. Plus everything's just about mature, so we're going to harvest what we can. The lettuce is a leaf lettuce. It's really tender. Even a little storm just beats it down, and it has a tough time coming back. So tropical storm, something going over, it's just going to get beat to hell. So we're not even going to worry about it. And the basil, my wife's about basiled out. We just grew so much basil, and this is we're back to the other one that was the cinnamon flavored. It doesn't really lend itself to like pestos and stuff. It tastes pretty good on its own and has a smell, you know, like cinnamon. I thought it was pretty cool when we first started doing it. But as far as just having normal pesto or putting it on a caprese, I just like regular basil. So we're going to go back to growing that. So all of this cinnamon basil, we're just going to grab some, save some, maybe dry a little bit, and harvest the rest. But we're going to start over with all of the basil. Easy crop to grow. So like we said, if you're a beginner, try basil. You know, even if you don't care for it too much, you'll be putting it into everything, but it's a really easy crop to get started with the hydroponics, and you get used to all of the ins and outs of it, and then you can move on to other things. So if we harvest everything and we don't bother saving it, we're going to let everything sit out there, ride out the storm, see what happens. And it's fall, right? It's starting to cool down. It's time to get started on other things. And one of those things is the pak choi. So you guys know how much my wife loves this, and I love pak choi. We didn't grow any this one crop. We try not to grow it all the time so that we don't get tired of it. So we didn't have any pak choi, and we're really missing it. So I've got some here, and we were going to plant this out this week. But Hurricane Ian had other plans for us. So we're going to hold off on it. Those guys are about a week old, and that's the beauty of this system too. Microgreens, I call them just our sprouts. Within 7 days, they're ready to go into the downspouts. And that's how we keep this thing going over and over again, is to always have your little microgreens sitting there ready to go. When things like this happen and you have to start all over, it doesn't take but a week or two and you're back in business. So I'm going to try and keep these going for another week. After the storm passes, we'll put these in the downspouts. And what I'll do right now is I'll actually plant out another tray of microgreens. That way if this one doesn't make it, or they get too big and I don't want to use them, then I'll have another one coming right behind of it. And the beauty is there's hundreds and hundreds of plants right here, right? That's going to make a load of food, but this was only about $1 worth of supplies. So I have another one coming behind of it. And that's how you keep your harvest going over and over and over again. That's why I love this system. See, it doesn't take a lot of time, money, and effort to grow you loads and loads of leafy greens. So we're going to ride out the storm. We're going to see how the plants do. Not even going to stress about it, because if they get destroyed, I've got those microgreens are ready to go back in, and within a couple weeks I'll have baby greens. Within another couple weeks we'll have a mature pak choi. Right now I've got lettuce going too, and we've got more kale on the way. So you always have your micros growing, and the things that you know how to do well and do it over and over until it just gets easy. It's just like riding a bike, right? You don't even think about it, you just do it. And before you know it, you're going to have a continuous harvest. You're going to have leafy greens around just year round, and you're not going to stress. It's going to be easy and it's going to be fun. What could be better than that? So everybody take care. All my friends that are in Florida, even Georgia, Alabama, some of these states around here, be careful. Flooding, winds, tornadoes can pop up. Everybody just be careful, stay safe. Live to inspire, keep on growing, be the change. We'll catch you later.